Hello everybody, welcome back to the video series lecture of PPS, and that is Programming for Problem Solving. My name is Jinal Jhala and I am your instructor of this subject. In previous video we had already started our 8th module, that is structure, and in structure we had already completed many different topics like introduction of structure, then how we can define the structure and how we can declare our structure variable. Then next is how we can access the members, array of structure, nested structure. And today in this video lecture we are going to cover our last topic, that is union and difference between structure and union, and with some practical examples. So start with union. First of all, what is union? So like structure, union is also one user defined data type which is used to store different data types elements together in a single form. And how we can define our union? So similar to structure we can define our union, but first of all just to see the syntax, instead of struct keyword just use the union keyword. Then after write your union name. If you want to make student union, then just write the student at the place of union name and define all the members in opening closing bracket, same as like structure. Just see the example. First I am writing union keyword and then after student, and in curly bracket I am declaring three different members of our union. First is a roll number, that is integer. Second is a name, that is character array, and third is a address, that is again string. And here you can see the syntax of union, it is similar to structure. Now you think that what is the difference between structure and union? So just see the difference between structure and union. So very first difference is that in structure when you define you have to use struct keyword, and in union instead of struct you have to use union keyword. So this is our first difference. Now what is the second difference? In structure all the members have a different storage space, where in union all the members share some common storage space, and in structure all the members have a different storage space. That's why we can access all the members anytime, where in union some common area shared by our all the members, that's why at a time only one member can be active. How? So suppose I take one example that I have three different person and three different chairs, then at a time we can set all the person in different chairs. So this scenario happen in our structure. And if I have a three different persons and only one single chair is available, then what happen? At a time only one person can be able to sit in the chair. So this scenario happen in our union. So this is the difference between structure and union. And when you declare your structure variable, then memory occupied by this variable is the total of all the members. And how we can calculate? So just to see here below example. One student structure is available and here two members are present. One is a roll number, that is integer, and one is a name, that is character array. So if you calculate the size, so here for roll number it will take 2 bytes because integer take 2 bytes in memory, and here character take 1 byte, but here array size is 10. So total 10 into 1, 10 bytes will be taken by our name member. So just to do the addition of these two members, so 2 plus 10 is equal to 12 bytes. So our structure variable occupied 12 bytes in the memory, where union mainly memory efficient. When you want to save your memory, at that time you can use union, and memory occupied by our union variable is the maximum of all the members. How? So the same example I have taken here. So first member will occupied by 2 bytes, and for second 10 bytes. So find the maximum from 2 and 10, obviously 10 bytes. So when you declare your union variable, it will take 10 bytes. So here you can say that for union variable, memory is less as compared to structure variable. So this is the difference between structure and union. Let's move to the practical session that we will see the program using structure as well as union. Welcome to the practical session. Our program definition is like write a program using structure and union to enter details of one book, and the members of our book is like, here I am taking only two members, that book name and book price. So we have to enter book name and book price of one book only using structure as well as union. So first of all we will make program using structure. So our first task is to include our header file. So I am including studio.h. Now after entering header file, first define the structure. So for defining a structure, we have to use keyword, that is struct. So I am writing struct. And then after structure name. So in previous video we have already seen that for student data I am writing student, but here for book data I am writing book as my structure name. And members we can define in opening closing curly bracket. So in definition we can see that only two members we have to take here. First is a book name and second is a book price. So first of all think about the data type. Book name is a one string. So we have to take character array. So I am declaring character book name. So I am taking book underscore name, and in square bracket just mention the size. So I am taking 20 and semicolon. So our first member is declared. Now our second member is book price. So price is in floating value also. So I am taking float data type, and price. So I am taking variable member name as a price. So our structure definition is completed. Now I want to enter the details of book for single book. So for one book storing the data, we have to declare our structure variable. So we can declare structure variable by using two different methods. Either we can declare after curly bracket, or also we can declare in a main section. But I am declaring here, that is B1. B1 is our structure variable. Now write the main function. And in main function we can access the members of our structure. So first of all I want to enter. So I am writing one printf, and in printf first member is book name. So I am writing enter book name colon, and then after scanf function. So scanf, our book name is one string. So for string, control string is %s. So I am taking %s, and then after comma, our structure variable is B1. So how we can access the members? Using dot operator. So first write the structure variable, then dot, and then our member. So our first member we can write like B1 dot book underscore name, because our member name is book underscore name. Now I want to enter the price of book. So again add one printf and enter book price. Again we have to write scanf function, and scanf %f because data type of price is float. And again use structure variable dot operator, then your second member, that is price. And semicolon. So our input part is completed. Now the same data I want to print on my console. So I am writing one printf and /n and /t, and I am writing book details. And /n. Now first I want to print book name. So write printf /n book name is equal to %s, and then b1 dot book underscore name semicolon, and printf again /n /t, and our second data is book price equal to %f because it is in float, and then after b1 dot price. Now compile the program. So you can see here errors warning 00. Run the program. So first enter the book name. So I am enter PPS and book price. So 350. So you can see here output book details, and in new line book name is equal to PPS and book price is equal to 350.00000 because we have taken data type of price in float. So in this way we can use structure. Now I want to find the size of our structure variable. In difference, I have said that the size of structure variable is the total of all the members. So here our b1 variable is our structure variable, and I want to calculate the size of b1, then we have to use our size of operator. Just remember the operators. In special operators we had learned two different operators, comma and size of, and size of operator is used to find the size in a memory of variable. So how we can find? I am writing one printf and /n size of structure variable is equal to %d. Why %d? Because this size always in integer, and then after comma and use size of operator, and in bracket our variable name is b1 because we want to find the size of b1, and semicolon. First of all count the size. So here book name 20, so 20 bytes for book name, and price in float. So for float size is 4 bytes, 20 plus 4, 24 bytes will be occupied by our b1. So let us see the same answer we will get or not. First book name, then price, and at last statement you can see the output size of structure variable is equal to 24. So theoretically we have already seen, but practically you can also count the size. Now the same program I want to do for union. So change here, instead of struct you have to write union, and B1 is now union variable. The same program we have to write, and here this line temporary I am putting in comment line. First of all, compile the program and run the program. So book name I am writing PPS and book price 350. So just to see the output on the screen, book name is equal to blank and book price is equal to 350. So what is the problem here? So in difference, one point is there that in union all the members share the same storage space. That's why at a time only one member can be active. So here our last member is price. So last value 350 is stored in our union variable B1. So at a time we can print only one value or one member's value. So for overcome from this problem, we can change the sequence of our printf statement. Means I want to print both these statement, book name as well as book price, then this printf I can write here and this book detail not require. Now compile the program and run the program. So book name PPS. So here first you can see that book name is equal to PPS and then enter book price. So I am entering 450. So now book price is equal to 450. So here we can get both the output. Again run the program for one another output. So enter book name. So book name is equal to PPS and book price. So I am entering 333.7. So book price is equal to 333.7. So in this way we can build a program using union. But when we can use the union? When you want to use only one member at a time, at that time you can use union. But when you want to print all the members together, then compulsory you have to use the concept of structure. Now how we can find the size of union? So first of all theoretically calculate. Here book name 20 means book name take 20 bytes and for price it is in float, so 4 bytes. So find the maximum out of 20 and 4. So it is 20. So the size of our B1 variable for union is 20 bytes. How? So we have to execute this printf function and instead of structure I am writing union variable and compile the program. Run the program. So here last statement size of union variable is equal to 20. In previous example in structure we get the answer 24 bytes. Here it is 20. So this is the major difference between structure and union. Hope guys you understand the concept of structure and union very well, that how we can build a program using structure as well as union. In next video we will start our next module, module number 9, that is dynamic memory allocation. Till then take care, bye bye, thank you so much.